We have a divisional prediction. This week we have the NFC South. If you are new here, we always start at 4 and go to 1. So let's start in the basement with the Carolina Panthers. Look, there's so much that I'd love to be optimistic about with the Panthers. But my concern is the offensive line's not very good. It's okay. It's okay, not great. Miles Sanders is okay at back, but not great. And they don't have a ton of weapons to throw to. And I like Bryce Young's talent. I'm not sure how well it translates. I do think he is very, very small. Like Kyler Murray's small, but moves a lot better.
But he's so undersized.
I think Bryce Young does throw a good football. But also, we looked. Schedule's brutal. The first, 6 games, 7 games are just brutal for a rookie quarterback. Yeah. So I don't love their chances. 5, maybe 6 wins feels about right to me. That's about as high as I think they go.
And I think if he pops, if Bryce Young comes out and is fantastic, which I personally don't see happening, I think they might be able to play their way up to 7 wins. And that is possible. The absolute cap. But yeah. I don't see him doing really all that much, especially this year. Maybe not ever. I've just never been high on Bryce Young. I said when I saw him take his first couple snaps at rookie minicamp that it looked like a 7th grade quarterback in an NFL type situation where they're just like, hey man, you want to come in and run a couple plays with the team? And it just looked bad. I didn't like when he was at Alabama, and I still do not like Alabama quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't
think it's a bold take, and I think as a show we are definitely a little bit lower on Bryce Young than others might be. There's people that are predicting Carolina to be closer to 8, 9, even 10 wins. I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think I like their front 4 a lot, but I don't think it's going to be able to make up for some of the lacking areas on defense in terms of the back 7. Carolina at 5 and 12. Plus, we think Frank Reich's a good coach, but we have no evidence to show that he can win consistently.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think Tampa Bay just a tick above at 6-11. If you told me they flipped, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be floored. I don't love Baker, but I do think their talent outside of Baker is almost a little bit underrated since Brady's left. They still have 2 very good receivers. They have a decent run game. Their offensive line play will still be top 12 in football. Defense lacks on the back end, but they still have really, really good edge rushers and a really nice linebacking duo with Devin White and with Levante David, right? Yeah. So Tampa Bay's talent is being a little bit underrated, but I do think Baker's a very, very not good quarterback. So I think that's going to lead them to being 6-11. Plus, I don't know what I'm getting with Todd Bowles. He's never won anything at the professional level, so... Yeah. 6-11, maybe 7-10.
I mean, there are so many question marks around this team. I don't love Baker, but at the end of the day, you have to give him a little bit of credit. He plays the game very hard, and every now and then, he'll surprise you. So I see maybe a win or 2 out of that, but that's all. Outside of that, I think he's going to be propped up by the rest of the roster, like you said. Yeah. I think that team, if it had the right quarterback, would have a fighting chance to compete with for the top of the division here. I don't see that. And I think, if anything, if you're in Tampa and you're a Bucs fan, don't get discouraged by this season because you still do have talent. Yeah. I just don't like your quarterback whatsoever. If you can find a good quarterback, whether it's a veteran in the offseason or a better veteran in the offseason, or go ahead and draft somebody next season, that's fine. I think that's great, and they'll insert very well into the roster. But with Baker, I just don't see them doing much.
I just really don't like Todd Bowles either. He just has shown no ability to win. None whatsoever, even with good rosters. Second place here, Atlanta at 9-8. You could talk me into 8-9 or 10-7. I think 9-8 feels about right to me. I really, really like Arthur Smith as a coach. I think the run game has been a lot better. The line play is improving. Defense, they have 2 decent corners, an okay pass rush. Now, linebacking core is a little bit weak. They don't tackle very well as a team, but they do get safety. What is that? Jesse Bates from Cincinnati. Yeah. So they do add a piece on the back end, so I think they'll be more serviceable on the defensive side. I think Bijan Robinson is an absolute home run. I didn't love the value of the pick, but I'm not going to sit here and deny his impact day one. He's going to be a very, very good back day one. I really like Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I don't love Desmond Ridder, but I think he's going to be Daniel Jones level. I think he can be. Yeah, he's fairly mobile, and he throws a decent ball. Again, I don't think he's going to be top 15 quarterback. Can he be anywhere between 18 and 22? Probably. And if that's the case, I do think they can win at least 8 games. They probably luck their way into another win. 9-8 feels about right to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the story with this team and the Bucks are completely, I want to say completely the same, but very similar in the fact where I just don't trust their quarterback at all.
Yeah.
I mean, Desmond Ridder, I think, can be okay, but I've never seen it, and until I do, I'm not going to believe it.
Right, and so I think Atlanta has the potential to be a 5-6 win team, but I think they have the potential to be a 9 to 10 win team.
Yeah, and
so I think
hinges on that.
Right, and we both think Desmond Ridder is going to be average-ish. I think he's going to be average with good weapons that are going to prop him up a little bit.
And the problem is, I've heard him compared to Justin Fields so many times that if that's what it ends up being, I don't think this team ever wins.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, the number 1 team in the division, of course, the New Orleans Saints. First of all, they definitely have the best quarterback in the division in Derek Carr. I don't think that's much of a debate. He's been a veteran. He leads the league, or he's at least top 3 in the league in fourth quarter comebacks since he's been in the league. I don't love the coaching issue with Dennis Allen. Hasn't shown the ability, again, a lot like Todd Bowles, defensive guy, doesn't win a ton at the NFL level, so that worries me a little bit. Feels like more of a coordinator than a head coach. But once Kamara comes back, we're not sure exactly how long the suspension is going to be. Michael Thomas is back. Chris Olave is a very, very good piece. They go out and get Jimmy Graham. So the offense is there. Defensively, Marshawn Lattimore, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, they have stars at almost every level of the defense. And again, I don't think it can be overlooked that Derek Carr is fairly easily the best quarterback in this division.
Yeah, and to be fair, he's coming into a lot easier of a division to play in, too.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't have a Mahomes anymore. He doesn't have a Justin Herbert. He doesn't have to hope that Russell Wilson's going to be bad again.
Yeah.
Right? He has a little more free reign here, and he can kind of dominate a little bit more than he could over in the AFC West. So I can see him being successful. I think, even though I don't love Dennis Allen as a head coach, I think at least he's in a spot now where there's less drama, consistent drama than there was in Vegas. I think the Raiders have been an absolute shit show for the last
That's not even deniable.
15 seasons.
That's not even deniable. The only good year they had was when Derek Carr was an MVP candidate until he broke his leg.
Exactly. So I think he personally is in a better spot in New Orleans. Now it's just the fact, can we put it together? Can everything come together so that you can have a decently good season where you can win some games? Because I think
the talent's there.
If you can win 10 games, you win the division.
Oh, 100%.
I don't see anybody being in second place with 10 wins.
There's an argument that 9 wins could win the division. If you told me that the Saints were 9-8 and Atlanta was 8-9, I'd say that's completely valid.
We remember the division from last year when Tom won it with how many wins? It was 9?
I think they went 8-9.
Yeah. Or 9-8. They went 9-8.
Look it up.
You got it? Or I got it?
I got it.
All right. Either way, it's a division for the taking. All you got to do is be decent. And I think Derek Carr is that. I think he can at least be average.
They were 8-9. So, yeah, I think 9 wins could win the division. And I don't think it's crazy.
Which is sad to say.
To run back through, we have the Saints at the top at 10-7, Atlanta at 9-8 in second, Tampa Bay and Carolina fight for the third spot. Tampa Bay gets it at 6 wins, Carolina in the basement with 5. You could talk me into flipping those, but again, I think that's generally speaking the order. And I think it's interesting if you look at it. I do think this is going to reflect the quarterback play in the division. I think Derek Carr is going to be the best quarterback in the division. Mm-hmm. I think Desmond Ridder and Baker are going to be, close at 2 and 3, and I think Bryce Young, the rookie, is going to be a little bit overwhelmed in the basement.
100% agree. And usually, if you pick them in the order of best quarterback to worst quarterback,
pretty good chance.
A lot of the time, it's going to hit. Either way, talking about